Right. Well, thank you very much for that one. So good evening, everyone. So yeah, I'm Kevin Mitchell, the current president of CIBSE. And this year, my presidential theme is to inspire the next generation, because I think that that is one of the most important things we can all do as individuals to help to solve the big challenges that we're going to face moving forward in the future. So I appreciate the question aligns to my presidential theme. So in my response, I'm basing this, of course, on 30 odd years of experience living and working in the UK, living and working in Toronto, in Canada, in Dubai as well. So I was interested to see some of the papers there about living with air conditioning in Dubai. I've got a lot of experience of that. And then also in Hong Kong as well. So, you know, working on projects in all of those geographic locations, and also working projects in geographic locations where I wasn't actually living as well. We've got so many different challenges, you know, different climates, different regulations, different norms, different expectations. There's also an awful lot that actually is common. Of course, the physics is the same. You know, building physics doesn't really change because of the climate or the location or the regulations. And also, in my opinion, I don't think that the process of designing buildings really does change or should change where you are geographically. So I want to focus in my response to the early careers engineers and early careers architects a little bit about the process, I think, that we all can follow to try to design buildings that are comfortable, but don't always rely on mechanical ventilation or air conditioning. So I would say to the young engineers and architects, first of all, it's essential to understand why the facility is required. Is it an education facility? Is it, it's really important to make sure the pupils are comfortable and healthy and able to learn? Is it a healthcare facility? Is it a data center? Is it a process facility? Because once we really understand the fundamental requirements for the building, then we can start to shape our technical solution to provide a suitable facility. So once you understand what the facility requirements are, then I would encourage you to challenge the requirements, to really ask, does this facility need to be maintained at 21 degrees plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius? Because at the end of the day, let's say it's an office building, and some people may not like it at 21 degrees plus or minus 2 degrees C. Some people may be able to adapt their clothing, their activities, their locations, etc. So that may not be the right solution or the right requirement. So challenge whether the hard requirements that are so often assumed to be correct are challenged as whether they are correct and required. The next stage, I would say, is to innovate. I think very early on in a project, what I love to do is to hold what I call an opportunities workshop. And you know, by holding an opportunity, and we try to invite as many, well, we do invite as many people. We try to get as many people along to these workshops as we can, from all disciplines and from all different projects. And we set out there on boards. We try not to use PowerPoint. Put some drawings up, some boards up, and try to generate some discussion and to have some what-if scenarios. What if we don't air condition? What if we have underground ducts? What if we orientate the building differently? And what if we build in a different location, maybe even? So try to innovate, challenge the norm, and to get some different ideas on the table. There's no such thing as a silly idea at this stage of the project. So understand, challenge, and innovate. And then you've got to really carefully agree and document, I would say. Now, there's a little bit here that I could be accused of saying it's a covering your backside. But I think it's really essential, when you are designing buildings, the design process sometimes can take many, many months, if not years. We then have a long construction process, and then the building is in operation and use potentially for decades. So it's really essential that the design process and the thought process behind the design solution and the systems, whether they are mechanical systems or whether they are architectural systems, that the understanding is there throughout the whole life of the building. Because we know from personal experience that actually buildings which rely on non-mechanical solutions are actually quite often not well understood by the occupants, and they're more difficult to operate. So, and I think that's one of the key reasons why, unfortunately, some of the passive design measures are not as successful as they could be, because the building occupants haven't been told how to operate the building. So I think that agreeing and documenting during the design process is really, really essential. And then my final point is that you can't do this on your own. So I was going to be kind of coy and say I've got my 3 points are to collaborate, collaborate, and collaborate. But I mean, it really is the core of all of this. I'm glad that they're both engineering and architectural students here. And I think that collaboration is really essential to producing buildings that truly can perform well without relying on mechanical ventilation and air conditioning systems.